All right, so get this. We're going deep into the world of weeds today.
Weeds, huh?
Yeah, you know those articles you said about herbicide resistance?
Oh, yeah.
Super interesting stuff. It's like these weeds, they're evolving
Always
to
adapting.
outsmart us.
Exactly.
And we're focusing on this new study from the University of Illinois.
Oh, I saw that one.
Yeah, and they partnered up and mapped the complete genomes
Wow.
of Palmer amaranth, smooth pigweed, and regroot pigweed.
Those are some of the worst.
Yeah, the big troublemakers.
It's huge problems for farmers.
And having these complete genomes, that's gotta be,
Oh, it's a game changer.
it's like a blueprint
It is, yeah. It's like a blueprint.
to their secrets.
Exact.
So we're not just like, oh, they're resistant. We're like, how are they doing this?
Right.
But
At the genetic level.
yeah, at the genetic level, that's crazy.
It is.
But why should we care? Like, what's the big deal about these genomes?
Well, for farmers,
yeah.
this is huge.
Okay.
This could change how they control weeds, make it more effective.
How so?
Imagine being able to know, like, which herbicides will work
Oh, wow.
before even spraying.
Wow, that would save
Yeah.
so much.
A lot of time, a lot of money.
So much money.
Yeah.
Okay, but first, like, what makes these weeds so bad in the first place?
Well, Palmer amaranth is like the king of the superweeds.
What makes it so supple?
It's resistant to a lot of different herbicides,
Oh, wow.
even glyphosate.
It's glyphosate.
Yeah, that was like
Yeah.
the go-to
Oh, okay then.
herbicide for a while.
What made it so good?
You could spray it on a field, and it would kill like almost every weed,
Wow.
but it wouldn't harm the crops.
Sounds perfect. What happened?
Well, over time,
Yeah.
some weeds, like Palmer amaranth, they figured out how to survive it.
So it's like evolution in action.
It is, yeah.
The ones that could survive, they thrived.
They took over.
And now it's like a global problem.
Global problem.
So how do they develop that resistance? Like, how do they do it?
So one way is they can detoxify the herbicides.
Like, they just break them down?
Yeah, they have these enzymes that break down the herbicides and make them harmless.
Oh, wow. So they have their own defense system.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's crazy.
And there's these genes called cytochrome P450s.
Cytochrome P... What?
P450s.
Okay.
They're really important for this detoxification.
So they're like the detox team.
Got it.
But how do scientists, like, know which genes are doing what?
Well, that's where the complete genome sequences are really helpful.
Okay.
They can compare resistant weeds to the susceptible ones.
Oh, so they can see the differences.
And find the genes that are causing resistance.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
And then what can farmers do with that information?
Well, if they know which gene is making the weed resistant,
Yeah.
they can choose a different herbicide that targets a different pathway.
So it's like outsmarting the weed.
You got it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's like a chess match.
And Palmer amaranth seems to be winning.
Well, it is really good at spreading.
And we were talking about the glyphosate resistance.
Right.
There's something unique about that gene, right?
Yeah, it's not on a regular chromosome.
Oh, really? Where is it?
It's on a circular piece of DNA.
Circular DNA. That's weird.
It's like it has its own little lifeboat,
It's like a separate little chromosome.
separate from the main ones.
That's crazy.
And that might be why it spreads so easily.
That makes sense. So it's not just the gene, it's where it is.
Exactly. It's the location, location, location.
And because it spreads so fast, what does that mean for control?
Well, it means our traditional methods aren't working as well.
So we need new strategies.
Definitely.
Like what?
Well, one thing scientists are exploring is gene drives.
Gene drives. I've heard of those. Aren't those kind of controversial?
They can be.
But how would they work for weeds?
The idea is to introduce a gene that spreads quickly through the weed population.
Like that make them all male idea.
Exactly.
But couldn't they evolve to overcome that?
It's possible.
So we're always going to be playing catch up.
In a way, yeah. But the more we understand about their genes,
Yeah.
the better we can fight back.
So this research is super important.
Definitely.
And it wasn't just one lab working on this.
No, it was a big collaboration.
Tell me about it.
It was the International Weed Genomics Consortium.
The what?
International Weed Genomics Consortium, IWGC,
Okay, the IWGC.
they brought together scientists from all over the world.
Wow, so they could share data.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
Really speeds up research.
So what makes them so unique?
Well, they believe in open science.
Open science, what's that?
They make all their findings freely available.
Oh, so anyone can use them.
Yeah, anyone can access the data.
That's really cool.
It helps everyone make progress faster.
So it's like open source, but for science.
Exactly.
Has this led to other discoveries?
Actually, yeah, researchers use their data to study water hemp.
Water hemp.
Yeah, another big problem.
Now they're super weed.
Yeah, really bad in the Midwest.
What did they find out about it?
Oh, water hemp is tricky.
How so?
It uses multiple ways to resist herbicides.
Oh, wow. So it's even more adaptable than Palmer Amaranth.
In a way, yeah.
So how did the IWGC data help?
They were able to find specific genes that make it resistant to 2004D and dicamba. Those are two really common herbicides.
So now we know how it's resisting them.
Exactly.
This is also fascinating. We've learned about detox systems, spreading genes, and collaborations.
It's a lot to take in.
It is, but there's so much more to talk about.
Oh, yeah, we're just getting started.
We still need to discuss potential solutions and all the challenges.
Right, and the ethics of it all.
Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll dive even deeper into this fascinating world of superweeds. Okay, so we're back and ready to dig deeper into these superweeds.
Yeah, it's like a constant arms race, right?
Exactly, and I'm ready to hear about these new weapons in the fight.
Well, we left off talking about gene drives.
Yeah, gene drives.
Still a pretty cutting-edge tool.
Yeah, and kind of sci-fi, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
So much potential.
A lot of potential.
Especially for something like Palmer Amaranth.
Right, remember the goal is to introduce a gene
Yeah.
that spreads really quickly.
Through the entire population.
Yeah, like overrides natural inheritance.
That's crazy.
It's pretty wild.
But you mentioned some challenges, too.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
What are some of those?
I think the biggest one is unintended consequences.
Like what?
Well, what if the gene drive affects a species it's not supposed to?
Oh, like it jumps.
Exactly. Could really disrupt an ecosystem.
That's a scary thought.
It is.
So how do they prevent that?
Well, they're working on making them super specific.
Oh, okay, so it only targets the weed.
Like a key that only fits one lock.
That makes sense.
Trying to minimize the risk.
Great. But even then, people are still hesitant about GMOs, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It's a sensitive topic.
It is. You're changing the genetic makeup.
Right, and then releasing it.
Into the environment.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
It is, and I think open communication is key.
Like with scientists and farmers.
And the public. Yeah, we need to discuss the risks and benefits.
For sure.
And be transparent about it all.
Okay, so gene drives are one option. What else is there?
Integrated weed management is becoming more popular.
What is that?
It's a more holistic approach.
Holistic.
Yeah, it uses a bunch of different methods.
Instead of just spraying.
Exactly. Reduces reliance on herbicides.
Oh, so it's like attacking on multiple fronts.
Yeah, it makes it harder for the weeds to adapt.
So what kind of methods are we talking about?
Well, you've got things like crop rotation.
Oh, yeah.
Planting cover crops.
Okay.
Mechanical methods like tilling, weeding, and even timing your planting and harvesting just right.
So it's like a whole strategy.
It is. You're working with nature, not against it.
But does it actually work?
There's more and more evidence showing that it does.
Really?
Yeah, it's not a magic bullet,
Okay.
but it can make a big difference.
Reduce the need for so much spraying.
Exactly. And slow down resistance.
That's great.
Much more sustainable in the long run.
So it seems like farmers are super important in all this.
Absolutely. They're on the front lines.
They see it all.
They have so much knowledge about their land.
Yeah, and the weeds.
Exactly. And what works and what doesn't.
And what's affordable.
Right, the economic side of things is huge.
So it's not just scientists in a lab.
No, it's a partnership.
Scientists and farmers working together.
To find practical solutions.
That's awesome.
Yeah, farmers are often the first to notice changes too.
Oh, yeah. They're out there every day.
So they provide valuable insight.
Like a real team effort.
It is. We need to work together if we're going to beat these superweeds.
So we've got gene drives, integrated weed management, and farmer know-how.
Sounds like a plan.
But what are some of the challenges?
Well, weeds evolve quickly.
Like really quickly.
They're incredibly adaptable.
Yeah, we've seen that.
Even our best methods, they can find a way around.
It's like we're always one step behind.
Sometimes it feels that way.
But the more we know about their genes,
the better we can predict what they'll do.
And stay ahead of them.
Hopefully.
What other challenges are there?
Well, every weed is different.
Okay.
What works for Palmer Amaranth might not work for water hemp.
So we need different tools for different weeds.
Exactly, a diverse toolbox.
This sounds daunting.
It can be.
But are we making any progress?
I think so.
Really?
We're learning more about their biology, their genetics.
Okay.
And developing new tools.
That are more targeted.
And less harmful to the environment.
That's great.
So it's not just about controlling the weeds.
It's about doing it sustainably.
Exactly, finding that balance.
And are people getting that?
I think so. There's a growing awareness about sustainable agriculture.
That's good to hear.
Among farmers and consumers.
So we're moving in the right direction.
I think we are, but there's still a lot of work to do.
This has been so eye-opening.
It's a complex issue.
We've learned so much.
From genes to farms to the whole planet.
Yeah, it's all connected.
It is.
But this story isn't over.
Not even close.
We still need to talk about the bigger picture.
The implications of all this.
And the ethics of it all.
Right, the ethical considerations are huge.
So stay with us for the final part.
We'll explore all of that and more.
Okay, so we're back for the final part of our deep dive into superweeds.
It's been a journey.
It really has. We've gone from genes to farms to like the whole planet.
It's all connected.
And now we got to zoom out and look at the big picture.
The bigger picture, yeah.
So what happens if we can't control these superweeds?
Well, one of the biggest worries is food.
Food.
Yeah, food production.
Oh, wow.
Imagine herbicides just stop working.
That's scary.
Farmers can't control the weeds.
Crops suffer.
Yields go down.
And food prices go up.
It's a domino effect.
And certain farming practices make it worse, right?
Yeah, like monoculture.
Monoculture.
Growing the same crop year after year.
Oh, okay.
It's like inviting the weeds in.
They love it.
They thrive in those conditions.
So we need more diversity.
Absolutely. Mixed crop.
It makes it harder for the weeds. Exactly.
But it's not just food, it's the environment too.
Oh, yeah. Huge environmental impact.
What kind of impact?
Well, if the weeds are resistant,
Yeah.
farmers might use more herbicides.
Oh, no.
Stronger herbicides.
That's bad.
It can contaminate the soil.
And the water.
Exactly. Harm wildlife.
It's like solving one problem.
And creating a new one.
So we need those sustainable solutions.
Integrated weed management is a good start.
But what about GMOs?
GMOs are tricky.
Yep. Are they the solution?
Could be a part of it.
How so?
We could make crops resistant to herbicides.
Oh.
Or engineer the weeds themselves.
To be weaker.
Yeah, less competitive.
But there's those concerns about gene drives.
Right, unintended consequences.
It's a big responsibility.
Messing with genes is serious stuff.
We need to be careful.
And have those open conversations.
With everyone.
Scientists, farmers, policymakers.
The public, too.
Everyone needs to be involved.
Wow. This has been quite the journey.
Superweeds are a big deal.
We've learned so much about their biology.
Their evolution.
And the challenges they bring.
But we're also finding solutions.
New technologies, new ways of thinking.
It's not just about fighting nature.
It's about working with it.
Finding that balance.
Sustainability is key.
That's what it's all about.
Protecting the environment and feeding the world.
This has been an amazing deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for joining us. And remember,
this is just the beginning.
The conversation continues. Stay curious, everyone.